Here we're going to tie a Comet. This is a great little fly for steelhead and salmon. First thing we're going to do is just secure the eye of this hook by putting some thread wraps through it. Now, once we've done that, we're going to take a pair of large Beadchain eyes and we're going to add these to the very front of this fly. Make sure they're nice and secure here. Then we're going to dress the hook just by taking our thread back. Take it all the way back here to the bend. Now the next thing to do is tying the tail. For the tail we're going to use a little bit of craft fur. You can tie this fly in a lot of different colors. It's primarily tied in bright colors. I'm going to tie this here in Chartreuse, but you can tie it in black and orange, pink, anything that really grabs the attention of a steelhead or salmon. We're going to try tying a tail here that's about the length of the shank of the hook. Maybe a little bit longer, about the length, maybe a little longer. We're just going to pinch it into place. Lay down some nice tight wraps. We're going to take our thread forward here. We'll trim out any of the excess. There we go. Now we're ready to tie in the body material. For that we're just going to use a little bit of silver flat diamond braid. Tie that in right at the back. We're going to take our thread forward here. We're just going to take that flat braid and we're just going to build up a tapered body. Just kind of gently taper this as I go forward. I'm going to leave a little bit of space up here at the front. Now the next thing to do is we're going to tie in the collar, the under portion of the collar. I'm going to take a nice generous clump of silver Flashabou, about 20-30 strands or so. I'm going to double it over. And I'll trim the loop after it's doubled. And what we're going to do here is we're going to tie the middle portion of this Flashabou in here. Right on top. I'll kind of pull it to one side. Then I'll take the front clump here, do the same thing, and I'll kind of pull it to the other side. Just trying to spread this flash out on the top of the hook here. There we go. Now I'm going to repeat this same process on the underside of the fly. There we go. Now we're going to take all this flash and we're just going to draw all the pieces together. We're going to trim it. We're going to trim it so that it's about half of the length of the body. I like to kind of do it all at once, but you can. There we go. And what you can do is just take your fingers and roll it from side to side, and that'll help spread the flash out. There we go. Now the next thing to do is to do the collar. For this we're going to use some Schlappen in Chartreuse. Just basically going to match the rest of the fly. I'm going to tie it in by the tips, and what I'm actually going to do is strip out the under feathers. I'm going to use 2 feathers here. You don't necessarily have to use 2, you can just use 1. I'm going to hold the tips and just stroke the feathers back here. We're going to tie this in by the tip. And I can trim out the excess. Then we're going to take our Schlappen. I'm just going to stroke all the fibers back. You can wet your fingers if that'll help. I'm going to wrap this feather. Just work my way forward towards the eyes, the beads, bead chain. And once I've got all the way forward here, I'm just going to capture that Schlappen, lay down some nice tight wraps. That'll help force the fibers back. Then we can whip finish. That is a finished Comet. Great streamer, like I said, for steelhead and king salmon. Just the right amount of flash. Once that gets in the water, all that Flashabou will pulse. That Schlappen's real webby and it'll move in the water. And you can find all the materials for this fly along with the recipe information at intherifle.com.